Okay, if you're here from the last video, why don't you go ahead and give this problem a shot. So try this out. So f of x is equal to x squared minus 8x plus 3. So for A, find when f of x is equal to negative 4. So sorry, find x. Find x when f of x is equal to negative 4. And for B, find 2 points that lie on the graph of f of x. Okay. So I'd pause the video, give these a shot. Okay, so hopefully you tried it. All right, so for A, let's do this. So we've got I'm going to just flip these quick and set them equal to 0. So x squared minus 8x plus 3 is equal to 0. All right, and now I need two things that, or hold on, my bad, not 0. X squared minus 8x plus 3. And we are setting this equal to negative 4. That's my mistake. Set it equal to negative 4, and we want to get that negative 4 over, so we're going to add 4. Get x squared minus 8x plus 7 is equal to 0. Now we need two things that multiply to be 7, add to be negative 8. So it's going to be x minus 1 and x minus 7 is equal to 0. So we can check off to the side. Negative 7 times negative 1 is 7. Negative 7 plus negative 1 is negative 8. So there you go. Okay, so from here, setting each piece equal to 0, so x minus 1 equal to 0, x would be 1, x minus 7 is equal to 0, got x equals 7. Okay. So there's our x values. Sorry. You're a terrible box. So x equals 1 and 7. All right, so for B, find 2 points that lie on the graph of f of x. Well, we learned last time we can just take these x values, and when we plug these in, we know we're getting negative 4 for a y value. So there's our 2 points. Okay. All right. Example 651. Let's do it. All right. And before we can do this, you're going to need to know about 0 of a function. So let's cross that out. Do this really quick. 0 of a function. Okay. So all it is, here's a definition. If f of x is equal to 0, then x is a 0 of the function. That's all we say. Then x is a 0 of the function. So go ahead, put a box around that. Keep it in your notes. Okay, so now we have enough information to do the next example. Example 651. And let's just do this on a new page, huh? Okay, here we go. Example 651. And what is it? Well, here's our function. F of x is equal to 3x squared plus 10x minus 8. For a, we're going to be finding the zeros of f of x. For b, we're going to be finding any x-intercepts of the graph of f of x. And for c, we're going to find any y-intercepts. Any y-intercepts of the graph of f of x. When you see these two little lines, it just means the same as whatever's above it. So I'm just copy and pasting of the graph of f of x right here. Any y-intercepts. Okay, so let's make a very, very general drawing here. Very quick. Okay, here's my y-axis. Here's my x-axis. All right. So let's start with x-intercepts. The x-intercepts of this graph are anywhere where this graph touches the x-axis. Well, it only happens 2 times, right? So this would be one of our x-intercepts. This would be the other. So we call those x-intercepts. All right, how about y-intercepts? We only have one. Okay, and every function only has one y-intercept. You can have more than 1 or 2 or 3 x-intercepts, but you can only have one y-intercept for a function. All right, now let's solve. So to start out, we got to find the zeros. So we take our equation, 3x squared plus 10x minus 8. And then remember what the definition of a zero of f of x is. It's anywhere, it's any x value that makes the function be 0. So we want to know when our function is 0 for what x values. Well, now we solve for x. We know how to do this. Do our AC method. So 3 times negative 8 gives us what? Negative 24. So two numbers need to add or multiply to be negative 24 and add to be 10. Okay. Just looking at these, it's looking like negative 12 and 2. No, so negative 2 and 12. Negative 2 times 12, and then add those together and you get positive 10. So there's our two numbers. Those are going to help us break this apart. So we have 3x squared plus 12x minus 2x minus 8 equals 0. It's important when you do this step, don't lose the x. The x sticks with these numbers, okay, that we're pulling out of this 10. All right, from here, we're looking at these two. So what do they have in common? They have 3x. So this becomes x plus 4. And what do these have in common? They have a negative 2. This becomes x plus 4. And there we go. Since these match, we know we did it right. So we can jump to 3x minus 2, x plus 4 with a 0, and then solve. Divide by 3, we get x is equal to 2/3. And over here, x plus 4 equals 0, x is equal to negative 4. So we know that x is equal to negative 4 and x is equal to 2/3. Those are our zeros, okay? B, let's think about what these values actually mean. At these values, f of x is equal to 0. We look back up here. At our x-intercepts, isn't f of x, or in other words, isn't y equal to 0? It is. So we say f of x equals 0 at this point. F of x equals 0 at this point. So we already have our points. We know negative 4, 0 is 1 point. 2/3 0 is the other point. These are x-intercepts. How about our y-intercept? How about our y-intercept? Well, let's think about our y-intercept. What is our x value at this point? Okay, if this is, positive 100s over here, negative 100s over here, okay, positive 1s right here, negative 1s right here. Yes. So hopefully you thought of it. Okay, f of 0, so we plug in 0 for x, and that's how we get this point. So let's do that. F of 0 for us would be 3 times 0 squared, which is just 0, of course, plus 10 times 0, 0 once again, minus 8. So our final answer, these become 0. So we have 0 minus 8 is just negative 8. So our point is 0, negative 8. So we plug 0 in for x, and we got negative 8 for an answer. That's our y-intercept.